In this lesson, we are going to be talking about processing. Now, by the end of this lesson, you're going to be able to define processing, determine which types of processing are appropriate for a particular computing problem, and identify several types of processing that are used in computing. So, for your warm-up, you're going to need two things. You're going to need to open your journal, okay? And that's not it. All right, lesson 6. You're going to open your journal and you're going to go to code.org lesson 6, Bubble birthday app. So go to code.org. Okay, so here's app, is it your birthday? All right, I'm gonna put this back. Okay, now try out the app that tells you whether or not it's your birthday. So we are also wanting to answer these questions in our journal as we go through this app. So the questions we want to answer: what is the input to the app? What is the output? And how do you think the app decides which output to give the user? All right, so I'm going to run it. I'm going to put my birthday, which is November 11. All right, so November 11. My birthday is November 11. Okay, and we're going to find out if it's my birthday. It's not your birthday yet this year. Well, that's correct, because actually today's date is June 28th. So, all right, I want you to play with it, and then I want you to think, what input does the app use? What output does it display? And how does it decide which output message to display? So pause this video and answer these questions in your journal, and then come back. So whenever I hit run, what input does this app use? What are you doing as the user? Clicking a drop down, selecting the month. Clicking a drop down, selecting the day, and then pressing a button. Those are all user inputs, okay? What output does it display? It's either pretty much yes or no. Is it your birthday or is it not your birthday? It displays a message that tells if it's your birthday or not. How does it decide which output? Okay, so which output? We've only seen one because all I've done is put in my birthday. But if I put in today, June 28th, disclosure, this is not my birthday. All right? It's your birthday, not mine. Mine's November 11. Okay? So this cake, if today is your birthday and you put in the date, this cake is what you're going to get in a message that says it's your birthday. How does it decide which output message to display? How? What do you think? So we can't actually see into the code, which is definitely what I would want to do. So I want you to put down what you think, okay, in your journal, and then we'll go over it maybe in the next one. All right. So our key vocabulary term for today is processing. In the past few lessons, we learned that computers are machines that help us with thinking work by turning input into output. For example, the thinking work this birthday app did was compare the birth date to today's date and to use the information to decide what to display on the screen. These types of thinking work computers do are called processing. And we're going to look at some different types of processing today. So our key vocabulary for today, processing, the thinking work computers do to turn input into output. And our question for today is, what are the different ways computers can process information? So, we've already seen two different types of processing in the birthday app. We have the comparing of the dates, and we have if-then. So, if the day you entered is the same as today, then display this message. If the day you entered is not the same as today, then display this other message. So we're going to look at a couple other apps and see what kinds of processing they might use. So go back to code.org. Okay, we're going to go on to a Bubble 2. Go to Bubble 2, Lesson 6, Processing. Okay, this app is called National Parks. Okay, let's pull up your activity guide. Okay. So this is what you're going to do for your activity guide. You've got your key vocabulary up here. Don't forget, at the end of this lesson, we're going to add this key vocabulary term and definition to our vocabulary slide in our journal, okay? So, is it your birthday? That's the app name. It used if-then. And so how did it help turn input to output? If the birthday is today, then it shows happy birthday message. So what do you think National Park Quiz is going to do? We're going to fill out the activity guide as we go, okay? And so let's look at that. Try out this quiz about America's national parks. Inputs, which answer is chosen? Use your mouse click. The right answer, internet or stored in the app. Outputs, message that the user is correct or message that the user is incorrect. What types of processing are needed to turn the input into the output? So hit run. Okay, start. What was the first national park? I have no idea. I've been here, but this one's super famous, so I'm going to go with Yellowstone. Yellowstone was the first national park created by President Ulysses S. Grant in 1872. Next question. We are learning stuff right now, okay? Which is the largest? Oh. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where Denali is. Denali? I know it's a vehicle. It's probably, okay, Death Valley. No, that's not correct. Okay. Which park gets the most visitors? Yosemite? No, Great Smoky Mountains. Oh, I don't know. Oh, okay, the Smoky Mountains. See, I've been there. More than 11 million visitors every year. Okay. The largest tree in the world, the redwood. No, the sequoia. No, the redwood. Nah, see, sequoia was the answer. It's home to the biggest tree in the world, the General Sherman tree. Okay, so we're actually not going to play it again. But, so, which answer is chosen? You've got your answer, and then you've got the right answer. So, if we look at National Park Quiz, what is it doing? Okay. If I'll put in some text. If your answer is the same as the correct answer, it tells you that you are correct. All right, so in this statement, what are we doing? I'm gonna make a, nope, I don't want it full, I want it outlined. I'm gonna go with the same blue of my, okay. Which one is it gonna be? And it's comparing. Okay, it's comparing your answer to the answer that it has stored. And let's look. It's either coming from the internet or it's stored in the app. And more than likely, whoever made this did get the information from the internet and then stored it in the app. So it's comparing your answer to the right answer. If those are the same, then you get message 1. If those are not the same, you get message 2. All right, so let's look at, click your finish button right here, and we're gonna move on down to bubble 3. Okay, and we're gonna look at app how many countries, I think. Yeah. Okay, how many countries? This app tells you some fun facts about different countries. Ask it a question, and it will tell you how many countries meet that requirement. So the input, the question that the user chose, based on a mouse click, list of countries and facts about them, internet, or stored in the app. The output is the number of countries that meet the requirement. Let's go back to, okay, how many countries? These are our options: if then, counting, finding a match, and comparing. Okay. Okay. So if the question that the user, okay, let's run it and let's play this game. How many countries are decreasing population? 21. How many countries are landlocked? 49. How many countries have sent people to space? 37. Okay. What types of processing are needed for this app to work? Go back. Okay. What is happening in this app? So, what is happening? The user selects an item the app, what is it? Is the app using if then, counting, finding a match, or comparing? The app uses counting to process the information. All right, so we're gonna go with counting. If you feel like it could be using a different type of processing, then you can go to the discussion board, start your discussion post with U1L6, and include the name of the app and why you think it's using a different type of processing than what I've got right here, okay? So there are lots of different types of processing that computers can use. Today we are going to focus on 4 different types of processing. Okay? The 4 kinds of processing are if then, which means if something is true, do something else. Comparing, which checks whether things are the same or one is bigger than the other. Finding a match, which searches a list or group of things for a match. and counting, which keeps track of how many of something there are. Okay, so you have your copy of the activity guide, and we have already completed these first 3 rows. So what you're going to do, either by yourself or with somebody else, that's totally fine, is finish these 2, My Famous Birthday and Stamp Notebook, okay? And then move on to the second page. Pause the video here so that way you can finish these 2 on the first page of the activity guide. So this next chart under more processing, all right, for each app, choose 2 types of processing it uses. So we're choosing 2 this time, okay? And explain how they help turn the input into output. All right. These apps are a little more complex. All right, the Fastest Finger app. Let's see, for each app, choose what's being processed and how it is used. There are 2 types of processing, okay? So the fastest, which finger is the fastest? Play this game on code.org, okay? It's determining, based on these instructions right here, put one finger on the S key and the other on the K key. Then click as fast as you can, and it's going to determine which finger is the fastest. All right, so this Guess the Number app, the app is thinking of a number from 1 to 100. Can you guess it? And you only have a certain number of tries. Okay, this third app, Where Should I Live? You get to select different things you want, and then it's going to tell you a suggestion for where you should live. So those are bubbles 6, 7, and 8 in code.org. So pause the video here so that you can go and do those, okay? Now that you're done with bubbles 6, 7, and 8, you're going to think about your app, okay? And this is also on your activity guide. Think of a new app idea. You can think about this idea with somebody else in this class, with a friend, or somebody at home, or by yourself. It really doesn't matter. What inputs does this new app need? What are the outputs? What types of processing does it use to change the input into the output? Okay, so you're going to put your app idea here, the inputs, the outputs. Is it asking for your age, like in the birthday thing? Is it saying if you're right or wrong? What types of processing is it doing? If then, counting, finding a match, comparing one of those, more than one of those. How is the processing? How processing turns and helps turn input to output, okay? So that's kind of like what we did here. All right, so you're going to complete that, and then you're going to submit that to Schoology, all right? So pause the video here so that you can complete that activity guide. And then for your wrap-up, you're going to answer this question in your journal. We saw 4 different types of processing today, but there are many more. What's another type of processing that you think would be useful, and what kind of app might use it? So these are just a couple of sentences, all right? You're going to answer them, and then you're also going to add processing to your vocabulary slide, along with input and output from yesterday, right? Okay, processing. So make sure you do those, and then that is it for this lesson.